What's up, everybody? I'm Jacob. Thanks for joining me today. Normally, I have my studio set up and I pre-record a video, um, but I have a really important message that I want to record. A channel member that talks with me regularly, Night Owl, has been sending me articles, and we've been conversing over what I've been calling something the perfect storm, something that's coming. Um, and it's not just AI. So I want to connect some dots for you, and there really isn't like any one article or one source of information or any one place that's having this discussion. And I think it's really important, and especially if you are millennial, Gen Xer, I really want you to listen hard, and you're kind of thinking, is AI a thing, or should I really be worried, or am I going to lose my job? Um, and I've talked quite extensively in lives and other videos about AI is just another. It's just another tool, right? And every time a new major innovation comes out, there's a technological cycle that happens where jobs as we know them get wiped off the board, and there's a lot of upheaval because of this technology. Companies don't adapt, people don't adapt, and therefore they lose their jobs. Companies go out of business. But eventually, an entrepreneur comes in and figures out, wow, this is really how we can use this new technology, this new tool, and creates uh, a whole bunch of new jobs, maybe even entirely new product we've never seen before. But that's I've talked about that regularly. So that's the short term pain. Then the long term is when the jobs and the expansion comes. But right now we're heading into the short term pain from this perfect storm, and AI is part of that. AI is just only one piece of what I call the perfect storm. I really, actually, now that I think about it, I've not really talked about the perfect storm um, out loud with anyone except for Night Owl on the channel. And he's been sending me, he converses with me in images that he generates, which are really cool. Sends me articles. And it's really been getting on my heart to finally just talk about this perfect storm. So, um, what I want to do is tell you a story, a theoretical story. All the technology exists, but when someone puts it together, this is typically what you would see. So I want to tell you a story about an autonomous delivery vehicle. So picture a truck, a self-driving truck that's electric, right? Uh, it shows up at the port in Los Angeles, and all of its uh, products are inserted into the truck, right? So, however that's done. If it's Long Beach, it's probably mostly going to be automatic at this point. But let's just say all the products are on the truck. This truck knows where to deliver the products. It's not even going to go to a warehouse or anything. The products are already sorted because this process was handled at the shipping origin, which is a huge shift in the way things work now. So that truck could theoretically deliver products all over the state of, let's just say, California, right? From the Long Beach port. It knows all the addresses of all where all the products are going. So that truck begins its journey and starts driving. It figures out the most optimal route to drive, the shortest distance that it will need to drive to deliver all the products on time within seconds, right? That's the AI part. We have an autonomous vehicle part. But here's where it gets really interesting. That truck does not have enough electricity to drive the entire state of California. So it also has to plan where it can park overnight in a secure location. So let's just say the company that owns the truck has these secure locations, and these secure locations a truck could go into and recharge itself. These locations are totally automated. There are no humans. You've heard of stories, or maybe you haven't, of dark warehouses where or dark manufacturing facilities where the where humans used to work and build things, now it's all robotics. They don't even turn the lights on. Everything's totally dark, right? So it's the same thing with where this truck pulls in. Truck pulls in, and this could be another company, let's say, all right? So it's not the same company. It's a different company that provides the charging service. Now, two things have to happen. This vehicle has to obviously know where these charging companies are. It has to charge itself, right? And then it has to pay for the electricity that it's going to consume, that it's going to require. And so that's the other part of the perfect storm, is that having these autonomous vehicles with artificial intelligence and the capability to move these objects and actually deliver them, they have to have money. They have to have access to money. And that means cryptocurrency, right? So now every vehicle has its own cryptocurrency account and can buy the electricity it needs when it drives around. So it could do this, several times over the course of a week while it's delivering all these products. I mean, this is a large vehicle; it's not a tiny vehicle. And then the last part is picture where you have like Amazon. You see the driver comes up and they walk that package from the truck to your front door. That last, let's say, 100 feet is actually a really, really difficult problem to solve. And before that, there was something called the last mile, and Amazon solved that. But I won't get into that. If you want to Google that, you can. But that last 100 feet up to the door, now we have robotics coming online. So maybe there's like a robot or some kind of like semi-autonomous deployment uh, machine. It doesn't even have to be a robot, but for it to take the package out of the truck and move it to the front door, drop it off, and go back in the vehicle, and then the vehicle drives off, right? So now think about that. We now have a fully autonomous vehicle that can move around completely in our physical environment. It can plan using artificial intelligence where to move the packages, how to deliver them the most efficient, optimal way. It has the ability to find locations to charge itself and purchase electricity. Maybe it takes toll roads and can pay tolls, things of that nature. And there's not a single human involved. And when you think about that, that's just one industry using all technologies. We already have most of this technology. That last 100 feet is where the big innovation's happening. We do have self-driving vehicles. We're almost at the point where they can be fully autonomous. There are some difficulties. I won't get into that, but we pretty much that technology is already here. We have the cryptocurrency. We have the artificial intelligence, and it's a certain type of artificial intelligence I won't get into, but I'll just say that it's agentic, meaning that it can operate by itself, which leads me into another important aspect of innovation is that, I've talked about artificial intelligence a lot on this channel, and a lot of people don't know, and this is why I always mention it, that AI has actually been around since the 1950s, the mid 50s. Of course, the computers we had back then were not as good, and it took nation states resources to be able to deploy these AIs. And they were more like statistical models where you group dots together, stochastics, things like that. And it really wasn't until the early 90s where we started getting away from stochastics and started exploring other forms of AI. But now the second part of that was machine learning, where you feed data into this statistical model. It'll find the patterns and come up with this complex equation, which then allows you to what they call is linear regression, where you can predict into the future. So it's more predictive kind of stuff, right? Which is still valuable, and machine learning is used a lot today. And the computing power that is required to do that is minuscule. compared to what we had back in the old days. But machine learning is still very valuable. But the kind of AI that you're probably more familiar with today is generative AI. So that's the AI that you talk to, where you chat with it, like chatbots, ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini. Heck, even when we go in the search engines, the AI is trying to tell us stuff. So it's everywhere now. Very computationally expensive. It takes a lot of computational power to do it. At the level some of these companies are doing it, like ChatGPT, but you can scale them down and actually run them on smaller devices, autonomous vehicles. So then now you can have these generative AIs collaborate, and that's where you get the agentic aspect. So the agentic there's two parts to it. There's the collaboration part, right? Where you can have two generative AIs talk to each other and collaborate, but agent meaning that they have their own agency, they can act on their own and solve the problems generally on their own. There's two more levels of AI that are coming down the road that we're trying to get to. I won't talk about those now. In the future, I will. Those are really freaking scary. Now you're talking about, like, are they, sentient? Do they have consciousness at that level? That's the kind of stuff we're talking about. But for now, what I wanted to get to is the agentic AIs, having multiple AIs coordinate with each other. And something happened in the last half year, 6 months, is that with agentic AI, what you do is you talk to I'll simplify it, one central AI that has other AIs that it coordinates. This is just one pattern, but just to make it simple for you. And then they could go off and solve a problem or come back and go out and do whatever each of the other agents are specialized in doing, and together they come up with a larger solution. The problem with agentic AI early on was you couldn't let them go off for more than 30 seconds. Then it got better to where it was like, a couple hours. Then it became, half a day. Then it became a work day. Now we're starting to see where the AI is getting so good, it's starting to hockey stick, where they're talking about full autonomy without any human intervention for an entire year, right? Imagine like a problem so big, so huge, that it would take AIs a year to solve. I won't get into the science. I won't show you graphs, but I just kind of wanted to just kind of lay it out for you, because I want to talk about AI. This is another thing that Night Owl reminded me of, which I'm really grateful for, because I don't really talk about enough, is that I want to make AI accessible to non-technical people. So I don't want to get into like all the technology too much, because my long-term goal is I want the millennials and the Gen Xers that still have a lot of work life left to pay attention, because this perfect storm is coming where we're mixing all this agentic AI, which to get to my last point is that they'll be able to be fully autonomous without any human intervention. I think the year is by 2037, not too far off, where you could just have these things constantly operating at all times, no human intervention, completely dark warehouses, completely dark recharging, no humans involved. And that's really scary. And finally, the last reason why I want to talk about this, I'm starting to see, because those of you who've been on this channel for a while know that I'm studying to become a generative AI architect, which basically the non-complicated way to describe that is I'm learning how to build ChatGPT. Okay. So I would be the guy that would run the teams that have the researchers, the IT people, the business people, all the stakeholders, that want to have a big business problem, and they want to deploy AI to solve it. And I saw an article in CIO magazine, Chief Information Officer, which is more like an executive level type magazine. Wouldn't be anything that most people would read. Is talking about how Microsoft is coming up with these tools And they're agentic AI. So basically, they go off and they do all the busy work. And um, I talk on this channel about how AI is more of a tool that you use, that it's a force multiplier. So yes, a lot of people will lose their jobs, but what'll happen is you'll have way more productivity. So eventually, when that entrepreneur that I talked about figures out how to really use AI, at a level that can employ everybody, now you're going to have one person be able to do the work of 100 people, 200 people. So just imagine the level of productivity that a lot of these jobs would be able to do, all the output that these companies will be able to do. But anyway, the article was talking about Microsoft was working on these tools, these agentic tools that will work alongside employees, and they were calling them your colleague, not a tool, not a software program, but your colleague. And that's a huge paradigm shift that I want you to think about, is that these companies are already starting to figure out ways to get through the short-term pain to get to the long-term, explosion that I was talking about, that jobs are eventually going to happen. Because the same thing happened in the Industrial Revolution, right? Steam engine was invented. Took about 125 years for it to really become, the tour de force that we understand it today, where we got electricity out of it because the steam was turning turbines, which then generate electricity. We turned that mechanical energy and steam before we discovered fossil fuel. Rotated tractor, the wheels on the tractors gave us mechanical advantage. Textiles. I mean, and the amount of productivity that came out of that, we can't go back from that. If all those machines die and sputter to a halt, we're all screwed. And someday it'll be the same thing for AI. But right now, we're going through this cycle where it's like, oh crap, my job is no longer. And I've talked about again on this channel how I was a software engineer for 25 years. And March of 2024, I got laid off, not because of AI, but in the year that I've seen AI improve, just like what I was talking about with these agentic AIs are now able to go more than just a half a workday without human intervention. Um, Now I'm seeing these coding tools basically do 80% of the work that I did all day long. And like do something that would have taken me with a team of 3 people like a week, 18 minutes. So, again, force multiplier. So this is kind of what I wanted to get to, is that the change is going to happen so fast that you millennials and you Gen Xers that are still sitting on the fence of like, oh, AI, whatever, you poo-poo it. Not a wise decision. The perfect storm is coming. All the pieces of technology that were being developed are now pretty damn mature. There's a couple more that still need a little more, improvements, but the rate of improvements coming to the point to where, like, within the next 3 to 5 years, if you are not learning how to use AI as a force multiplier in your day-to-day work, not going to learn how to use it, it's not good for you. So this leads me to what I want to do on the channel is I'm going to start doing more videos of practical uses of AI. And I'm going to gear it towards more older Gen Xers, non-technical, and of course, millennials too, because y'all still have a lot of work life left. I'm not worried about Gen Z. I know a lot of people poo-poo Gen Z, but I think they're going to turn it around, and I think they're going to become an absolutely incredible generation. They're just trying to find their way right now. They're young. I mean, even as a Gen Xer, when I was growing up, that's why we were called Gen X. We were the unknown quantity. They thought we were idiots. They thought we were morons. And, we turned out okay. But anyway, I know this was long and a little rambly, but I just didn't feel that this video was justified doing, turning on the studio lights and doing fancy editing. I want the message raw, straight, real. And if you have any questions or any concerns about AI or something in particular you want me to talk about in terms of ramifications in society, where I see things going, or just something specifically you'd like me to do with the AI as an example to learn how to use it, um, comment below. Uh, like and subscribe if you like this kind of content. Consider supporting the channel, become a channel member. I talk a lot with the members that if you engage with me, I will engage with you. No worries there, as Night Owl knows personally. Um, and if you want to just support the channel just as a thank you, you can also put a thanks on this channel. Saturday at 7 p.m. MST, I'll be doing a live. I'll demonstrate some more AI, I call them games or AI tricks, where I'll do things with the AI just to kind of introduce you to different things that you can do to just to help with your creativity. And that's the direction I come from, is that I want your creativity to be enhanced by the AI, because I think that if you understand how it improves your creativity, work is just it's just a side effect of that, and it'll benefit you at work. Then you can go to work, and talk about all these things that you're doing with the AI. So when they start going through and laying off people, and then they go, who knows this AI stuff? They'll keep you, because that's where this is going to go. AI is going to be nothing more than like a tool, like this plug here. You need this plug to electrify a gadget. If you know how to put the right into the wall and put the gadget in this end, you're good to go. That's AI is actually very simple, and a lot of people make it too complicated, I think. But anyway, I'm sorry, I've rambled enough. I just wanted this to be a real raw video. Hope you like it. Hope to see you at the live. Otherwise, until the next one, peace.